All right, hello again, everybody. This is Jeff Scott, and as part of my YouTube channel at JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, I am now in where I am. Well, according to this, I've got two playlists here. I don't know what's going on with that, but there's 3 videos. I thought there were 4 in here, but we'll make sure we get the other one in there. In my last video, let's make this.
All right, hello once again. Jeff Scott here.
Don't want that.
And as part of my JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming.
All right. So in my last video, I went back and created, earlier I had created 2 different programs. One in which it just asked you to enter your first name and your last name, and then it said hello, followed by your full name. So if I run that one, just so you see it, please enter your first name. I'll put in my first name. Please enter your last name. I'll put in my last name. And it says hello. Okay, pretty simple stuff. Then I wrote another program. I think it's here. Yep. And let's make that our startup project. And with that one, it asked you to input a number, and it determined whether the number was 0, odd, or even. Now again, this program blows up, breaks if I put in something non-numeric or just in enter. It doesn't like that because it's trying to convert whatever you put in into a number, and that doesn't work. But if I put in 0, I get 0 as neither odd nor even. If I put in a positive number like 144, it says 144 is even, and it'll even work with negative numbers. So for instance, if I put in negative 133, it says that's odd. So that works as well. And in the last video, I gave a pretty much an in-depth explanation of what was going on in each program. So what I'd like to do in this particular program is to rebuild these, but rebuild them as GUI applications. All right, now I did come in here and I right mouse clicked on my solution. I chose add, new project. I'm not going to do it all again, but up here I went and found Windows Forms App .NET Framework. Right there, Windows Forms App .NET Framework. And I created 2 of them, one of them for the first program and the other one for the second program. Right now they look the same. And what I want to do is I want to come in and be able to use as much of the code from the console apps as possible. And the reason for that is programs are about logic. They're not about whether something is console or whether it's GUI or graphical user interface. Okay, now I'm going to try to pretty this up just a little bit. I don't have to do this, but I like to do it. So I'm going to come in here, and the first thing I'm going to do is click on the form. And down here, I've got my properties window. If you don't see that, if it's not showing, so if yours looks like this, just go to View and find Properties window. It's down near the very bottom, and there it is. So I'm going to click on here, and I don't like where it says Form 1. So I'm going to go down to where someplace in here it's got text. That's the name of the form. Here's the text. And I'm just going to change that to first C# GUI app dash greeting. And hit enter. And hopefully you can see that it has changed. All right. The other thing I like to do right away is to change the name of the form. All right. By convention, forms start with FRM. So I'm going to change the name of this from Form 1, which is his name, to FRM Greeting. Now, you don't see anything different on here. The other thing I'm going to do, and again, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to change the color of the form because gray is kind of ugly. So I'm going to come in here, and where it says, somewhere in here, it's got the background color, back color, and it says control. I'm going to click on it. Click the down arrow. I like to go all the way over to custom. Sorry. And I'm going to choose a light blue. And you can see right away what happened. All right. Last thing that I want to do here is I want to, again, with the form highlighted, and that's all that's in here, I want to go down to the bottom, and somewhere in here it's got Windows, it's got start position, which means it's going to basically run right here. So I'm going to click on that Windows default location and change it to center screen. Now, I haven't done a lot yet, but if I do run it, what you'll notice is, whoops, I've got to make that my active project, sorry. So let's right mouse click on, hopefully I did it on the first one and not the second one. If I did, I'm sorry already, but let's see. So I'm going to right mouse click on this and choose set as startup project. So when I click now, what you see, and it was the other one that I did it for, so I goofed up. Well, when don't I goof up? Let's see. All right. Yeah, that was my second one, and it should have been the first. So we'll just change everything. No biggie. All right. So, in fact, let's not save this. Save our changes. Let's say don't save. All right. And let's go back, and let's bring up our first GUI app. Okay. There it is. I'm going to do the same stuff I just did. All right. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go over to where it's got text, and I'm going to change this to first C# GUI app - greeting. All right, just like I did with the other one, but I'll change the other one in a bit. Come over there. I'm going to change the name to FRM greeting. I'm going to change the start position to center screen, and I'm going to change the background color. We'll make a different one this time. Let's make it a green. Okay? So what I've done are 4 things. I changed the form text to first C# GUI app - greeting. I changed the startup position. You'll see that in a minute when I run the program. I changed the background color to green. All right, and I changed the name of the form from FRM or Form 1 to FRM greeting, which you can see here. So now when I run this, you'll notice it comes up right in the middle of the screen. There's nothing there yet, but I just wanted to show you that. So let's start adding some stuff. All right, I need to add my toolbox in here, which is not currently showing. So we'll make it show. There it is. All right, now this is going to be a fairly simple program, but I am going to add a few things onto here. I'm going to add 3 buttons. There's a button. All right, I'll bring them about down here. I'm just eyeballing everything. It's no biggie. And I'm going to do a Control-C, Control-V, Control-V. So I made 2 copies of my button. You can see I get these little lines here to help me line things up, which I like. It's not too bad. All right, let's move it down a little bit. That looks pretty good. Now, the other things I'm going to put in here are labels and text boxes. Labels are where you either put headings or you can output information. Text boxes are usually where you input information. So, I'm going to first put in 3 labels. All right, here's the first one. You'll notice I can't change the size of it until I come over here. And there's something here that says, oh, I always forget what this is called, but we'll find it. Auto size. It's set to true, which you think you'd want it to be, but we want it to be false. All right, so that's going to be where we ask the user to put in his or her first name. Okay, I'll make it nice big. There we go. And it's kind of hard to read because it just it's the same color. So let's go and change the color of that. And instead of a that green, we'll make it a little darker green. All right. Now, that's going to say, please enter your first name. I want another one right under it that says, please enter your last name. So I'm going to do a Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste, and I'll put that right here. And I want one more of these. Oops, trying to line things up. There we go. That's going to say the person's full name. So let me copy another one. And I want that to be bigger. Doesn't have to be, but we're going to make it like this. So there's our interface. Okay, so far. Two more things we want to add. We have to let the user enter his or her first name and his or her last name. Those are text boxes. So I'm going to come over here to text box. And now that, I can make that wider, but I can't change the size of it any other way until you'll see in just a minute. So I'm going to copy that. And there we go. Now, one thing I like to do, and I'm all for expediency, so I'm going to do this quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to highlight everything. I'm holding down on my left mouse button, and I'm doing this is called lassoing. I'm lassoing everything. And I'm going to reset the size of everything. If you've ever worked with Word or whatever, you probably have seen this kind of dialogue before. I'm going to go to Arial. I'm going to go to bold. And let's make it about 18. And you can see how everything changed. All right, much easier to read right now. Okay, that's all done. The other thing I want to do, and you don't have to do this, but I don't want to be able to move any of these. Everything's looking pretty much the way I want it to look right now. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, lasso this whole thing. In fact, you don't even have to. Yeah, I'll lasso the whole thing. I'm going to go down to where it says locked, and it's set to false. I'm going to change it to true. Now you see these little locks on there. It means I can't move things around. If I decide I want to move something around again, I can just unlock it. But I'm going to leave it the way it is. Now, if you look here, I haven't renamed any of my controls. So they're all button 1, button 2, label 1, label 2, and text box 1, text box 2. So let's change all those right now. This will be first name. So the recommendation is that you start labels with LBL. So I'm going to put here LBL first name. That's not the text in here. That's the name of it. All right. So let's see. I'll hit enter. And you'll notice I've now changed the name of one of my labels. All right. Now let's change the text. We'll have this, please enter first name. Okay. And I'll show you a couple other things in just a minute. And then now let's go over to here, because we call this LBL first name. So I'm going to call this, for my text box, I'm going to call this TXT first name. Okay, so that's done. Now for this one, probably you've guessed already, but I'm going to change the name of it to LBL last name. And I'll change the text that's on it to please enter last name. All right, they don't perfectly line up, but it's not too bad. And this will be TXT last name. All right, again, if I go and take a look at all my controls, you can see I've renamed 2 of my labels and the 2 text boxes. This, I want to do a couple things to. First of all, I don't want there to be any text in there. That's where I'm going to put text in a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to change the name to LBL full name. All right, so that stuff is all done. One more thing I'm going to do quickly in here, and that is I'm going to highlight all 3 of these, my 3 text boxes, and I'm going to go over to where it says layout. And somewhere in my layout, I thought it was layout, maybe it's not. What I just wanted to show you in here is how I can line stuff up. All right, sorry about that. So I've now gone in and I have changed the font size for everything. I've changed the names. I did want to go in, like I said, come in here. See if I can find it. It's some kind of an alignment thing, but not image align. Text align, there we go. It's kind of weird when you click here, it doesn't show you options. I just want it to be right in the middle. There. So that's all now going to be centered. But when you highlight text boxes, there is a text align. And when you choose that, you get like left, right, or center, which I don't understand why they would do one and not do the other, but maybe there's a real good reason for it. It's a text align. We'll set that to center. All right, now there's one more thing to do, and then we'll start writing some code. That is, let's rename these buttons. All right, so the first one, instead of button 1, this is where we're going to, we'll call it BTN Greet. Okay, and we'll put there, let's make it BTN Greeting. How's that? All right, and we will put for the text there, we will just put greeting. There's the first one. Second one's going to allow us to clear. It'll clear this, it'll clear this, and it'll put the focus right there. Okay? All right, so the second one is going to be just called BTN Clear. And for the text, we'll put clear. And you'll notice I put it in by text instead of by the name. So this should say clear. And for the name, we'll make that BTN clear. Finally, this one will be exit. So I'll make the name of this BTN exit. Let me pause for a second while you listen to my clock. All right. So this last one, like I said, we'll make this BTN exit, and we will put the name of it, not the name, the text on it, we will set to exit. All right. It's the best to set up your interface, rename your controls before you put in any code. I like to always go back and double check too to make sure I didn't forget anything. So I'm going to click where it says the FRM greeting, and I'm going to check. And it looks like everything has been renamed. It's also a fast way, if you want to get to different things on your screen. So, all right. So now, if I save this, and if I run it, it's not operational yet, but you'll see what it'll look like when I run the program. There you go. Okay. So there's my first C# GUI app greeting. Please enter first name. Please enter last name. The two text boxes where the greeting will show. Greeting, clear, and exit. Now, it doesn't matter which one of these we do first. All right, but let's do greeting because it is the first one there. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to where I wrote the first program, and I want to see what's in there. Oh, that was the second one. That was the first one. Okay, a little screwed up here, but we'll get it all fixed in just a second. So there's my first program. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab every bit of code that I put in here from main, everything. And I'm going to copy it to the clipboard. And I'm going to go to my form. And I'm going to put it in. I'm going to get errors. And don't worry about it. We'll fix them right away. But I want to show you what will work. All right. And I should have shown you this before. We don't really need the using system. I think we need the using system. But those are the only two we need here. Now we're going to get a bunch of errors. But notice my variables are still okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is where it says input first name, okay, I'm going to say here, what I want to do is I'm going to assume that there's something in the first name. So, but let's do this. I'm going to say here, if txt first name dot text is empty. So if it's nothing, okay, I'm going to put in what's called a message box. You'll see it on the screen in just a moment. I'm going to say MSGBOX. I thought it was message box. Maybe it's not. Well, that might have actually been in one of the things that I removed up here before. So let's see now if it's in one of these. I don't know if it is or not. So I'm going to say again, if txt first name dot text is equal to nothing, well, that was good, Jeffrey. If it's equal to nothing, now does it find message box? It does not, so that wasn't what it was. That's okay. We can get rid of this now. Oh, let's see. Hey, I haven't done this in more than almost 2 years, so we'll put in here C# message box. All right, it's message box. All right, so let's try that and see if it works. So we're going to put in here message box dot show. Okay, now notice what it says here. This is the text we want to show. We will just we'll put in here, you must enter a first name. How's that? And I'm going to move this onto a new line here just so you can see everything I'm putting in. You must enter a first name. How's that? And then we're going to put a comma here. Now it says, what caption do you want in there? So that'll be no first name. In fact, a lot of times in my caption, I like to make them all capitalized. No first name inputted. Okay? And since there was nothing there, all I want to do is I want to say txt first name dot focus, and I want to get the heck out. Return. Okay? So if I get down to here, we put in a first name. So let's copy this. Let's copy all of this code and just change the first name to the last name. All right, so if the first name, so this will be last name. Sorry, you must enter a last name. No last name inputted, and last name dot focus. So if I get down to here, I put in a first name and I put in a last name. That's where I want to be. Okay? So if there's something in each one of these, now I can say LBL full name dot text equals first name. Oops, let's see. We've got these variables here, first name, last name, and full name. So let's use them. All right. So if we get down to here, we did have a first name. We did have a last name. So first name equal first name dot text, last name equal last name dot text. So we've got those. And full name is equal to first name plus, we'll put a blank space, plus last name. All right. And then finally, see, I'm a little stickler for having stuff line up. We can say LBL full name dot text equal full name. That's our program. We'll go back and look at it in a minute, but let's see if it works. All right. So file, save all. Now, if I don't put anything in for my first name and I click greeting, no first name inputted, you must enter a first name, and there's my cursor. So if I put in Jeff, then I click greeting again, no last name inputted, you must enter a last name, and there's my cursor. If I put in Scott and click greeting, oh, I forgot the hello, and that's okay. We'll put that in a minute. But you can see it does look like it's working right now. All right, let's fix that. So we want that to say hello plus first name plus last name. So just to reiterate and show you it again, let's put in Mary Jones. All right. Hello, Mary Jones. So that works. All right, let's add some comments and let's explain our way through this. So this is what? This is the first name inputted in TXT first name. All right, we'll move that over one so you can see everything. Oops. And this will be the last name inputted in TXT last name. This will be hello plus concatenated first, last. Okay? All right. So we'll come down here and we will verify that something was entered in for the first name. And this will be to verify that something was entered in for the last name. I'd like to be able to see everything, so we'll just change this to for last name and for first name. Okay? All right, so this, nothing inputted for first name. Display error message. Set focus to first name and return. Again, you can see that we're doing almost the same thing here. So again, I can copy all this. So it says nothing inputted for last name. Display error message, set focus to last name and return. So down here, first name and last name inputted. Concatenate hello plus first name plus blank space plus last name and put result into full name. In fact, let's do this because I'm going to use the names that I use for variables here. So first name, last name. Oops, last name. There. So set the focus to TXT first name and return. Set the focus to TXT last name and return. Oh, and I used let's see, there we go. So I called it txt first name and txt last name. Now hopefully you consider that to be a pretty good explanation between what I put in here, all right, between what I put in here and the comments. One more thing I want to do, you may or may not have noticed this, but let me run the program one more time. When the program starts, where's my cursor? The answer is we don't know. We have to put it here ourselves. I don't like that. So let's fix that. And we'll fix that by going over to our form, double-clicking on the form, which brings up what's called the load event. In fact, I don't even think we have to do that. Yeah, we'll do that. And we're going to put in here txt firstname.focus. So when the program starts, the cursor should now appear there. Let's see if it does. Well, it didn't show. txt firstname, that is correct. Well, we'll look at that in just a minute. Let's finish the rest of this first. So we've got a greeting stuff. That's all in there. Okay. And now let's go to our clear. So we want to clear this, clear this, clear this, and put the focus right there. 4 lines of code. So txt firstname dot text equals, now you can either say string.empty, or I just like to use that because it's less typing. Txt last name dot text equals nothing. LBL full name dot text is equal to nothing. And txt first name dot focus. That's everything. Let's do just a little tad bit of cleanup work here. Let's come in here and do this. This is pretty obvious, but I'm going to put it anyway. Put it in there anyway. So code that executes when greeting button is clicked. All right. And this will be code that executes. I'll move that over in a second. When, oh, that's the wrong place, so that's okay. We want that. We've got that. Okay. That was greeting. There's our clear button. So code that executes when the clear button is clicked. So the only thing left to do, so that, let's see if that works now. So file, save all. Let's run this. We'll put, just a name in there. John Smith. Click our button. There it is. Click clear. There it is. Everything cleared. All right. All right. So what's left? Well, our exit button. Now, I used to have some code, and I've lost it. So I'm going to see if I can find it again. C# code to ask user to quit program or not. Ask user if they want to exit program using C#. That pretty much is what I want here. All right. So what do we have here? We're going to put in a message box. I'm going to put this on a new line so you see it. Are you sure you want to exit program? Okay. And we'll say exit program now. How about just exit program? Now, notice what's in here. We didn't have this in the last message box we put in. We could have added these, but I didn't. This says that we're going to have a yes button and a no button, and this says our icon will be an information icon. All right? So if we enter yes, I'm just going to exit. I don't need to say successfully exit program. And if we don't say yes, we're not going to do anything. We don't even need this. So again, first of all, this will be the code that executes when the exit button is clicked. All right. And we'll just put a comment here that says, verify that user wants to end program now. And again, end program. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to keep this code up here for a minute. And I'm going to save and run the program. Now I'm going to have to move this around a little bit. So I want you to see this. So when I click exit, what do we get? Are you sure you want to exit program? Exit program. So that exit program, that's this. Are you sure you want to exit program? Let's make it the program. All right, we'll fix that. Just a minute, we'll rerun the program. All right, so are you sure you want to exit the program? That's this. If we say no, nothing should happen. All right, so let's run it again. Let me save it because now I've got exit the program. And if I run it and click exit and I say yes, the program exits. All right, couple more things I want to do quickly, and then we'll put this program to rest. I'll stop taping and I'll start again with the other program. So give me a second here. So the first thing I want to do, and these aren't big things, but I think they're things that are niceties. Okay, notice the greeting there. We name that button greeting, right? Totally fine. I'm not going to change that. But where we've got greeting, I'm going to put an ampersand in front of it and hit enter. And you'll notice now that is underlined, and I'll show you what that means in just a minute. For our clear, we're going to put an ampersand there before the C. And for exit, well, typically you'd put it before the X. So what did I do? Not a whole heck of a lot, but let's save it. And let's run it again. And I'll put in again Jeff and Scott. All right, now instead of clicking the greeting button, I'm going to do I think it's an Alt-G. There you go. To clear, instead of clicking the clear button, I'm going to do an Alt-C. And to exit now, I'm going to do an Alt-X. So by putting those ampersands there, it makes them what are typically referred to as hotkeys. All right, the other thing I don't understand is why when we put that here, right there, it didn't give us the focus. I thought that would be it. TXT first name dot focus. And I might be putting it in the wrong place. In load, might be the wrong place. There's different places, of course, where you can put this code. Well, let's go back to the internet. And again, yeah, could I go back and do all this program that I've done right here? Could I go back and do all of it using something like ChatGPT? The answer is yes. But I'm trying to show you how to write it. All right, throw on my own little foibles and stuff. So let's see. How to make a control active at the start of a C# program. And I don't want active. How to give a control the focus at the start of a program. It says use the load event and call the focus method. Optionally, use the select if the control is a text box for selected section. Okay, we'll do that one. I didn't even know that existed, so let's try select right there. All right, so file, save all, and I'm going to put a comment here too that says this code should run at the start of the program. Let's see now if we run it, if indeed our cursor is in that field. And there it is. So I think that's everything. All right. Now, of course, is there more I could show you? The answer is yes. Is there more I'm going to show you in future programs? Of course, the answer is yes. All right. So when I come back, I'm going to put this program to rest, so to speak. So I'm going to do a save all. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. And this is the second program here. This was the first program, so I'm going to close that. This is the first program still. I'm going to close that. This is the second program. And that was the second program. So there's nothing in there. And I'm going to see how much of this code I can use as well as we did before. All right, so I'll be back with that lecture, demo, video in just a couple minutes. Thanks.